Okay, so I've had several lumbar surgeries. I'm fused from 5 to 2, L5 through L2. And the last MRI I had was in 2010. So it's been 10 years ago. And in August of 19, so it's been almost 16 months ago,
Yeah.
I mentioned it to my oncologist that I was having hip pain because I thought there might be some metastases to my bones. So she
Right.
ordered hip x-rays. So I saw Dr. Naylor in late 19. And because of insurance purposes, he had to do a cortisone injection, you know.
Yes.
So that didn't work. So then I rescheduled with him, but the pain was so intense. But number one, it didn't present like a hip. It presented like something else because they kept telling me it was the right hip. And I said, no, it's my left, and it's in the back. It's in the buttock.
Okay.
So then I
Yeah,
went to,
on the left buttock.
yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
like.
So I went to,
Okay.
and in 2010, L5S1, or S1 L5, whichever way you want to look at it, was bulging low and to the left
Okay.
in 2010. But it's never been cut on. I've only been cut on L5 through 2. And I've had 5
Okay.
surgeries. I'm fused with hardware.
And L5 and up. It's
L2, right. And so L5S1 has never been cut on. But in 2010, the last MRI I had at Allen Memorial Hospital showed a bulge low and to the left at L5S1.
Okay.
So, technically speaking, probably one of the 3 orthopedics that I saw late 19, early 2020 should have probably ordered an MRI of my lumbar before they knee jerked and did a hip replacement, total hip replacement. Because both of them, all 3 of them, Dr. Richard Naylor, Dr. Jeffrey Clark, and then Dr. what's his name, Bartelt.
Bartelt or something.
Bartelt is the one that ultimately did the surgery. But every single one of them said, it's the right hip. And I'm like, no, it's my left hip. But see, we never thought about doing an MRI. And now we've ruled out its cancer metastases to my hip, I would like to look at that lumbar because, number one, I don't want to have an orthopedic monkeying with my spine or my sciatica, if that's the case. I would want a neurosurgeon. And if I have to wait until Naylor to refer me for an MRI of my lumbar, he's out until the end of February. So I'm going to have to sit here and wait in this pain. When I cough or anything like that, it's excruciating pain in my left buttock, shoots all the way down to the bottom of my foot. It's been 10 years since I had an MRI. Now bear in mind, I've met all of my deductibles, all of my out-of-pockets, everything. I called Allen scheduling yesterday, and United Medical Park and Allen Hospital only had 2 MRI openings before the end of the year, which they're probably filled by now. But then I called ADI, Advanced Diagnostics Imaging, out on San Martin. They've got plenty of openings. So if I could just get the MRI under my belt, I don't care when I see a neuro guy in January if it does indeed show something. If it doesn't, fine, we've ruled that out. Let's live with this pain the rest of my life then. Or look at the piriformis, or something else. But I need to have L5S1 looked at, please. I'm begging you. Dr. Muns, on October 3rd, Dr. Muns was going to schedule an MRI. But I had some issues. I had to have a PET first. But I couldn't have the PET because I couldn't breathe. They wanted to see if it had metastases to the hip.
Which they then have since done, and you know that there's nothing.
No, so it's coming from my back. But a PET isn't going to show a ruptured disc.
No, it's not.
Right.
You're right. We're looking to make sure that there wasn't something the X-ray wouldn't see that was cancer.
Exactly.
Exactly right on that.
You've got it.
You said when you cough, the pain goes down the left leg.
Yep.
What else does that? You said something else right around there.
In my buttock. It's in my buttock. My buttock. It's in the back. See, that's why the ortho guys the 3 orthopedic surgeons, none of them could get it. They didn't understand. I didn't present, I didn't present like
Right.
somebody that needed a total hip replacement, because it wasn't in the groin. There was no
Right.
clicking, popping, locking up in the hip at all. And they kept saying, well, it's your right. And I'm like, no, it's my left.
Did they do a right hip replacement?
No, they did the
Okay.
left. But it's never
Okay.
gotten better, doctor. It's gotten worse. And then
Okay.
because of the surgery, I had all these other issues. I've got neuropathy in my feet. I've got a sore that won't heal on my toe. I had pneumonia. Oh, I'm seeing a GI guy. That's already set, and then I'm going to see Naylor again for the hip failure, the hip replacement discomfort. But if it's not that, I don't have to see Naylor.
Right. Is that pain when it goes down the leg? Does it go to your knee? Does it go to your foot?
Yeah, it goes to the bottom of my foot, the bottom of my left
Okay.
foot. I can't lay. I can only lay on my back. I can't lay on my side. There's no way I can get relief. I'm only sleeping between 15 minutes and 1 hour at one stint, at one time. That's all the longer I can sleep. And I have to get out of bed because the pain is so great in my hip. My left hip. Not my right, my left. The one that had surgery.
Yes.
Dr. Bartlett says
It's the pain in the butt.
That's right, the pain in the butt, right. And Dr. Bartelt says that the hip surgery went perfectly. It was a total success. Well, yeah, it was. If all you're talking about is removing the joint and cutting the femur off and replacing all the stuff and healing, yeah, it went perfectly. But that's not what was the matter with it. You see?
Yeah. And then can you do an MRI with a hip
Yes,
replacement?
yes. I had an MRI looking for cancer of the hip.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same magnet. I don't know. I'm not a radiologist.
Right. Well, if you call ADI, not you, but I mean a scheduler.
They would ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they would.
It
know.
Let me tell you one thing to be sure and note. Tell them it has to be done with contrast. Contrast. I have to have an IV, and I go in the joint, get series taken 10-15 minutes. Then they pull me out, and then I have the contrast added, and then I go back in. It has to be ordered with contrast. That's because I've had surgeries before, and there's scar tissue, so they need to add they need to add the contrast. That's very important because if they don't schedule it with contrast, I get out there, they're not going to be able to do it. So when scheduler calls in, well, they might even ask her, is it with or without contrast? And then she needs to say, yeah, it's with contrast.
They definitely will. Yeah.
Yeah, this ain't my first rodeo, let me tell you.
So let me send a text to Dr. Muns. I can't go against what she's written, but I'll just send her a text by there.
Well, what are you going to tell her? How are you going to tell her? You give me your synopsis of what I just told you.
Well, I'm going to tell her that you're asking for an MRI, that the PET scan was negative, and you've got radiculopathy and a known disc bulge on 10 years ago, and that you would like one, now, and before you have to pay your copay. So.
And I can't see Dr. Naylor until the end of February.
Okay.
So if it does indeed turn out to be my lumbar, I'm going to have to be in this discomfort, this pain, until the end of February.
Well, she would probably try to do something about that sooner.
Oh, and then one more thing. Reminder, in October, early October, she was going to go ahead and schedule one. She was going to schedule an MRI. I've got the note. I keep a daytimer book. See, I keep all these books like this, and I write everything down, see?
Yeah.
And I write everything down in here. And I look back in my other book in September, October, and November before I switched to this one, and I wrote down on October 3rd, Dr. Muns, MRI. And she was going to schedule that. It was at United Medical Park, but I canceled it because I had to have a PET. Everybody's like, oh, let's do the PET. Let's do the PET. We'll see, you got cancer in your hip. You got cancer in your hip. No, I just needed an MRI. But all the doctors were bent.
I'm glad you don't have cancer in your hip, but yeah, it's a good thing to have. I mean, so it's yeah. not a dumb thing to have looked for. I've seen exactly that happen. So,
Right, and that's
so I'm
why
glad
I went
it's
with
not
it.
that.
But then I had further complications with no oxygen. I had to use an oximeter, and my oxygen level would drop below 90, and I had home oxygen and everything. And that took like 2 months to get over. You know, well, then I went, then they had to do another pre-authorization. So for the pet, it just, you know, one complication right after the next, you know.
I know. It does get that way. So,
But if I don't get that,
I
I don't. Then I'm gonna have to wait till the end of February, plus pay like $5,000 or something.
which you'll want to do it at ADI when you do it.
Yeah,
No matter what.
yeah. I've
because
been there
they're
100
cheaper.
times. Yeah.
They're not. Let me look at one schedule right over there. I'll be right back.
Okay, honey. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, sure. Uh, where are we? She'll be in the building this afternoon as well.
Well, don't let her talk you out of that. Don't let her talk you out of that. I can tell you understand completely what I'm saying, and I believe that you concur with me. That it makes perfect sense to you as a physician, right?
Yeah, unless she's got a different way of looking at it.
There's
You never
not.
know.
There isn't.
So, but I will send her something, and then I'll try to chase her down this afternoon because I believe she's my backup when I run into problems this afternoon. If I run into problems this afternoon. So anyway, as a PA, I believe she's my backup this afternoon. So yeah, let me go there and see what we do.
Okay, I'm counting on you. Please be my advocate, please.
I'll do my best.
I don't want to have to
All right.
sit here till the end of February. I'm liable to kill
No.
myself by then. I'm just kidding, but I mean, this has
Right,
been
I know.
ridiculous. And when I told the doctor, Dr. Naylor, about it in August, or my oncologist in August 19, I had the pain for months and months before that. So this is not like all of a sudden August 2019 it was there. No, it was there months and months before. So I've been suffering with this for more than 2 years.
Yeah. About ready to be done.
Help. Yes, I want my life back.
All right, I will send her.
Okay. Okay, Bob.
Back in touch.
Okay,
All right.
Bob. Be sure you get all them notes in there then.
Okay, we'll do.
Plead my case.
It'll take me a minute, but I'll do it.
Okay, thank you so much. You'll send her your whole thing, your whole smear? Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, thank you. Remind her she was going to do one herself. Okay, thank you.
All right, I will. Keep your fingers crossed.
Oh, I will, God almighty. Okay, bye then.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.